Using the right echo ability in Wuthering with can increase your damage significantly easily. But with so many different echo to choose from in Wuthering with, how do you know which one is the best for you? Well, that's what I'm here to answer today. So right after you subscribe, we're going to talk about the best echo in the game by far, which are the two support echo. The Bell-born Turtle as well as the Heron are the two best echo in this game by far. The Bell-born Turtle is extremely easy to use. You just click it and it will give you a 50% damage reduction and a 10% damage boost for your entire team as long as the shield is maintained. You can equip this echo on any characters like your support and then switch to your main DPS characters, and then your main DPS character can do a 10% true damage boost. The Bell Turtle should be one of the first echo you look for. It is very easy to use. You don't have to level it. Just equip it on any characters, switch to your DPS, and now you're getting a damage boost and a damage reduction. This is probably the best echo in the entire game right now, so you should be using it. The Heron work on a similar concept but with more condition. One, you have to use your character outro to get the damage buff, but it's 12% instead of 10%. The other one is that, well, it only buffs the next characters. The Heron has a pretty long animation, but fortunately you can swap cancel all of it to avoid the animation time. But a secret trick of this echo is that as long as you use your outro in the next 15 seconds, you will be able to get the benefit. That means you don't have to use it right away. This makes it possible to double stack the Turtle and the Heron by first casting the Heron, switch to your Turtle character and cast the Turtle, switch back to your Heron characters, and then cast their outro, which now trigger the Heron buff onto the next characters. And now you have stacked both the Turtle buff and the Heron buff onto your main DPS, and this gives you massive damage boost. If you don't know what echo you should be equipping, these are the first two echo you should be looking for in your team. Put your Turtle on one of the characters, put your Heron on the other characters, and then do Turtle into Heron into your main DPS, and that's how you can get a bunch of damage for free. Now when it comes down to echo choice on your main damage dealer, the general recommendation is to go for the 4-cost boss on the same element. There's a couple of reasons why this is the case. For the most part, all the 4-cost boss always have two major effects. The first one is that they do very big damage corresponding to their element. So for example, the Myra does 200% and then 200% again, and then finally does 266.8%. So in total, it does 666% damage, which is a lot. But the second thing is that every single boss echo in the game comes with a corresponding buff. So for example, this is a Glacial Element boss, so it comes with a Glacial buff, which increases your current character Glacial damage by 12% and your Resident skill damage by 12%, assuming you can get all 3 stacks, which is a lot. And you will notice this exact same pattern on pretty much every boss echo. The Monkey has about 500% arrow damage scaling on the skills, followed by a 12% arrow damage boost and a 12% heavy damage increase. The Tempest Mespris, for example, has, a bunch of electro damage boosts and a bunch of electro damage. Now, it is really important that you use the echo that do the same element damage as you do. This is because the echo damage, which are these number, actually scale with the character stat that you're using it on. Lin Yang ult, for example, has a bonus that increases your glacial damage by 50%. And because my echo ability, it does glacial damage, by using my ult, I'm able to actually increase the damage dealt by my echo ability. And so by using my ult first to get the 50% glacial damage bonus buff, and then casting my echo boss summon, I'm able to do significantly more damage on the boss summon ability. A lot of these boss summon echo transform you into the boss and then attack, which is a major problem. The first problem is that if it's transform your main characters into the boss, then your main character couldn't be attacking, so you're losing some potential damage there. But the second one is that generally speaking, they have very long animation that can leave you vulnerable and could be very difficult to actually use in battle. And while you can swap cancel all of them, you notice that it didn't do the first hit right there. When it comes down to multi-hit echo, just like multi-hit skill, you can only actually swap cancel off the last hit. And this screams extremely bad news for echo that have a lot of multi-hit, because for the most part, the boss echo require you to actually hit these stuff to actually get the damage increase. So for example, for the Wuthering methods, only when you do the final hit, it will increase your character's electro damage. and oh god, it takes forever to actually do the attack. For this reason, the correct answer might not always be the boss echo that do the most damage, but rather one that come out a lot quicker. Like for example, the Tempest methods come out a lot quicker than the Thundering methods, which is a lot easier to use and is more practical in battle. The Crowler's Echo is the biggest example where it's very long to come out, but in comparison, the Dreamless Echo can be swap cancelled and come out almost instantly. The Dreamless Echo is a perfect example of this because it just does so much damage and it does 50% more if you cast your Havoc Rover Liberation. In comparison, while the Crownless damage also do Havoc damage and it gives you an additional Havoc damage bonus, it just come out too slow. Although do note that for the Crownless Echo, it's like after the transformation end, you get your damage bonus. That means it is actually possible to just cast the Crownless Echo and then cancel it out, and you can still get the Havoc damage bonus this way. So make sure you're reading what your Echo ability does, because sometimes they don't actually require you to hit the enemy to get the bonus. The Mech Abomination Echo on the forecast is another perfect example of this that come out extremely quick, does really good AoE damage, and most importantly is that you can actually hit multiple enemy in a single hit, which do what we like to call quadratic damage scaling. Notice how the turtle in the middle is taking significantly more damage than the other turtle. It is because it is being hit by the neighboring lightning strike effect, taking from 3 different damage instances at the same time. This actually makes the Mech Abomination Echo really strong on like AoE damage instance, especially if you're playing like an Electro character, because they are able to take advantage of the Electro damage scaling and actually increase their damage. Now, because some of the boss Echo just takes so long to transform into, a lot of the time you should also consider looking into Summon Echo that just straight up summon something. For example, this fish here doesn't transform you into the fish, but it rather just summon a fish that does 5 times damage of 23% each, which means it just does about 100% glacial damage for free. Now, these are some of the best and the easiest Echo to use because they're just so easy. You just click the button every single time it's off cooldown and it just does the job. The prism that is available to each element is actually really good at doing this because they are really easy to hit and they do respectable damage on a 8-second cooldown. If you're looking for an extremely fast to deploy Havoc Echo, there's also the Shroom, which is one of the best, but to be honest, if you're playing any Havoc characters, you should just be going for the Dreamless Echo. For arrow damage, the Hu Trip is really good as well because even though it's a transformation Echo, the transform is extremely quick. Other than Echo that do damage though, there are a lot of Echo that have really amazing utility. The Fluid is one of the best utility Echo in the entire game, as it is able to generate you Concerto energy, which could be a very good user for a battery. You can swap cancel all the lasers once it starts casting, which is very reliable when it comes down to doing electro damage off you, or just generating Concerto energy, one of the best. Let's talk about Counter Measurement Echo. Certain Echoes in this game has a special ability called Counter Measurement, and they will always say Counter Measurement. For example, you can find this on the free cost Rocksteady Guardian, or you can find this on the Cyan Feather Heron, and you can once again see there's a Echo skill Counter Measurement. When an enemy is doing a special attack denoted by the red flashing light, hitting them with a special Counter Measurement Echo will counter their attack and knock them to the ground. The best one to use between all the Counter Measurement Echo is going to be the Rocksteady Guardian, just because it fits conveniently into the healing set. So you can just put this on your support. You can switch to it and cast it when the enemy is going to do a special attack. So make sure you're bringing this Echo against enemy that do special attack like Crownless or even the Heron. The Six Eye is actually a really interesting Echo that create a slow field that will slow the enemy down, because it slows down the enemy, and it's especially useful for a character like Chixia to get the entire skill damage off. You don't have to equip it on Chixia, you can equip it on your secondary characters, Katsuseki, and then switch your Chixia to do the fire damage, and you can achieve the exact same effect. Speaking of Chixia, a really fun one to use Chixia is actually going to be the Traffic Eliminator. You can use it to immobilize enemy just so again, you can get your skill off under the ground and prevent you from taking any damage for a little bit. So this is really good if you're ever in a panic against big enemy attack. The best Echo to use for all time though is obviously none other than the Shiny Turtle, which, well, he can't just vibe. Obviously, in this game, there's a lot of different Echo, and in the future, they're gonna keep on adding more Echoes. When it comes down to Echoes, for the most part, it really is preference. There are some Echo that are better than the others. The Monkey is actually pretty good because you can swap cancel off the second hit, so he's pretty quick. On the other hand, like some people would like Mech Abomination. The Myro is kind of good. I kind of like it because it just does a lot of damage, but it's really slow. So admittedly, it's not for everyone. It just really comes down to your playstyles, which is why only you can choose what is the best echo for you. And with that being said, here are some of the recommendations throughout this video. Hopefully this video kind of helped a little bit. Don't forget to subscribe if you're watching till the end. As always, bye.